I actually drink like half of my coffee since I've been trying to get the thumbnail for this video. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. Lovely to see you. I want to talk today about what it's like to live alone now that I have been living alone for the past year and a bit, and we will be featuring a special guest today. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, but let's try. Featuring my kitty, Ruby. Isn't she gorgeous? Yes. Anyways, let's get straight into it. I want this video to be a little bit more organic, a little bit more of, not that the other ones weren't, my other two, but I want it to be a little bit more organic in the sense that I don't have point by point exactly what I want to go over and some of the points that I want to hit. I just have a rough outline of what I want this video to be. So my hope for you, what to get out of this video, is to understand maybe, or to get a glimpse of what it's like to live alone. And if you are thinking about moving out or moving in with roommates or just living alone in any capacity, I hope that this video kind of shines a light and gives you some realistic expectations of what's to come when you are to move out and live alone. Let's get into it. So to give you a little bit more context as to what the past year and a little bit has been like, I will rewind to fall 2021. Around that time is when I started thinking about moving out, and I actually kind of forced myself to go to a couple of open house, but not open house, they're like for apartment search basically. I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what square footage was. Well, I did, but I didn't know what it looked like, 400 versus 500, the layout. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't know what certain rents would include in them, because some include hydro and electricity, others don't. And it really depends on, you know, your circumstance, where it is that you're looking at, your area, and your landlord. Whether it is like a building landlord versus if you are renting a condo that somebody obviously bought, that's gonna look a little bit different. So that is something that I wanted to really familiarize myself with in the fall of last year. So that's kind of why I pushed myself to start going and asking questions. And somehow, lo and behold, I actually ended up getting a place a month and a half, 2 months after I started doing that. So something that I learned that I didn't know is between November and May, it's actually the quiet season. It's not a term that real estate agents use. It's just something that I literally came up with right now. But what I mean by that is the rent is a little bit cheaper. The properties that you will typically find, they're not as elevated in the numbers that you typically see. And that is mainly because it's colder. Nobody really wants to go and look for places and move a bunch of their stuff during the cold winter months. The holiday season is coming up. It's a little bit tedious. Maybe you have family obligations, kids, whatnot, really depending on the stage of life that you're at. So that's usually why it's a quiet season and why it's the optimal time for you as a renter or a buyer to maybe just glance around, see what's out there. And before I go any further, I do want to say, please take my advice with a grain of salt. This is my own personal experience that I am willing to share and put out there. It's not, you know, it is a little bit, I guess, of a vulnerable side that I'm showing, because I typically don't really talk about this and put it out there on social. So please go and read articles. It depends on the area that you live in. Talk to real estate agents, or if you have friends, or you can find all that information online. There are different apps that will help you find the place that you're looking for, and just ask a lot of questions, because that's how I started off, without knowing anything, just asking a bunch of questions. Anyone that knew anything about rent, even somebody that was renting, I'm like, hey, how do you do this? What does this mean? How does this work? So whatever I tell you is my own personal experience, and I don't know everything. I'm not a real estate agent. So I hope you get, you know, insight out of my story, but please consult other resources to make sure that the information that you're getting is most relevant for you. With that being said, The links that I will provide in the video caption below would be everything that I've looked at. I'm not sure if I saved some of those articles, but I'll go back, I'll double check, I'll tell you the apps that I've used and the articles that I did read online, and some of the questions that I started off asking either friends, relatives, strangers, coworkers, or real estate agents. So it'll be all there in the description below. So the first thing that I want to address is the main reason as to why I moved out. Why did I want to live alone? Why didn't I want to be with roommates or live with a partner, or just, stay at home and save up, which is what a lot of my generation millennials typically do, because everything is so expensive and pricey and really difficult to afford. The main reason being, to be honest, is that I wanted to learn more about myself. I wanted to know what I was like, what are the things I needed to work on, what are the things that I was good at, and hold myself accountable for basically almost everything, every single aspect of my life. I think it's very common for people to say, I love to people watch, I love to observe everything and everyone around me. And that's true, I do as well. But what I've also realized prior to moving out is, as important as it is to be aware and observant of your surroundings, it is just as important, if not slightly more, of yourself, to be cognizant of how you respond, how you react to the world, how you handle yourself, how you hold yourself accountable. I think it's crucial to understand that about yourself, to accept the kind of person that you are, to come to terms with, the pros and the cons that you have, and then have that be kind of not the foundation or the blueprint, but I guess have that on one piece of paper, and on another piece of paper, write down or understand the attributes that you want to have or the person that you want to be, and kind of see what the correlation can be between the two, if there is one, and what are the things that you have to do to get to the other side. So understanding more about myself, challenging while I was moving out, that's one of the biggest reasons, because I think it's not only important to observe others, but it's really, really important to observe yourself, and that comes with many pros. It's like an investment in yourself that you only reap benefits from later on in life, and to be honest, everyone else around you. And the reason living alone allows you to do that is because, for example, if your place gets really messy, or if you don't keep up with something, you have nobody else to point that finger at but yourself, because nobody else is responsible for keeping you together other than you. So that's, your world and your surroundings is a mirror reflection of what you are. That's a saying that I kind of grew up with, especially that's something that my mom told me over and over again. And it's even more so evident when you live alone, when you move out. So I think it's a really great advantage, and I highly recommend it for any person if you are able to, if you are in a circumstance that allows you to move out, or if you are forced to do so. Understand that there's a lot of positives that can come of it. I say so a lot. Another point to support why you should move out alone is because anytime you live with someone, your sense of self, or who you are, or how you go about your day-to-day life, is tethered to somebody else. I don't think it's bad, not at all, because you can't really live alone forever. You do need people, you do need other human beings around you to, validate your reality, to get along with, to have your own community, to have love, to have support. There's a lot of use for that. So it's not like I'm advocating to be a lone wolf, but what I'm saying is appreciating yourself and accepting yourself and what you are like alone, and then tethering yourself and kind of going through the process of understanding what you need to work on and what you're good at and what you actually bring to the table is, I think, necessary. I think a significant portion is what allows us to grow into a better version of ourselves. So that is why I'm making this video in the first place, and that's why I'm advocating to move out and to live alone for whatever that small period of time that you can do it for. The other thing that happened the first couple of months when I moved out, and what I recommend, is keeping your place as empty as you possibly can. Main reason being is you want to know how you use the space before you start putting things into it. Personally, I felt that makes the most sense to me, because why would I go get a bunch of things, place them where I think I want them or I think I will use them, and then at the end of the day use the space completely differently. So point number 2, if you are moving out or if you do move out, just have the basic necessities. So I only had a desk, a bed, and a couch and a chair. No, I don't think I even had a chair. No, I did. I had a chair for my desk where I would study and do my work. Other than that, I didn't have much else. And I would highly, highly recommend that to any person that is either moving into a new place that's already lived alone. Trust me, you don't need as much as you think you do. Another reason not to get everything you think you need into your place is to distinguish the difference between what you need versus what you want out of a place. Your housework and the amount of time that you put into your place takes more time and more energy out of you than you think it will. So that is something you need to account for, and that is something you need to kind of grow appreciative of if you lived with roommates, that you kind of split the work, or if you lived at home with your parents and they took care of certain things for you and you didn't have to really think twice about that. It really becomes clear when you move out how much work you need to do to kind of sustain a certain lifestyle, I guess, or a certain way you want your place to look, or a certain way you want your place to feel, and how you want to function within that space. So that is something to be cognizant of, because it takes more time and more energy than you think it does, and you need to allocate certain times of the day for it and put a time limit on it. And when you say you're going to get it done, and as fast as you can. Just get the work done, because you'll feel so much better after it's done and you don't have to prolong any other part of your day. Last but not least, I think this is also an advice for someone who takes things a little bit too seriously. I am guilty of that sometimes, not always, but have fun with it. Don't overthink and over strategize and over plan every single aspect of your life, because that, you need to leave some room for fun. Sometimes you need to embrace uncertainty, being disorganized, having no clue what you're doing, and leaving a bit of room for free time for yourself, for things to happen and opportunities to come along. Alrighty, with that being said, we are gonna say bye and thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye!